Hey y'all, Carolina Tony, thank you for stopping by my channel. Today our adventure brings us to the great state of Kentucky. I'd like to thank you for stopping by my channel. If you're here for the first time, be sure to go down below and please subscribe if you will. I am on a quest to find out all I can about the famous two families, the Hatfields and the McCoys, and the feud that ensued and all the deaths and all. So we're gonna roam the hills of Kentucky and find out a little bit about those two famous families. But right after this station identification. This is known as Preacher Anderson Hatfield's cabin, also known as the Hog Trial. The story goes that in the fall of 1878, Randolph McCoy brought charges against Floyd Hatfield for stealing one of his hogs. Now the trial was held here at Preacher Anderson Hatfield's house. The jury consisted of 6 McCoys and 6 Hatfields, but one of the McCoys went against his uncle, and then all you know what broke loose. Now this cabin is not original. I have actually seen a picture of the original cabin, but this is made with hand-hewed logs, and there's no power tools used. Everything was done with no nails. The chinking in between the logs came right from the mountains. These chimneys are not original, but they are made with the original stone from the original chimney, as the foundation has not been moved. This is right where the cabin was. And these steps are original to the cabin. And here's something else that's original. The footprints, you see them? There, there, there. That is the footprints of Ansel Hatfield's children. This is a wooden carving of Randall Hatfield. And this is the original well here at the Randall Hatfield home place. And it still has water in it. We do not see very many wells that still are functioning. And until not many years ago, this one well supplied water to these 3 houses. And when the county water come through, they signed on with the county. This is the actual site where Randall McCoy and his wife lived. After they surrounded the house, a shot was fired by the Hatfields that led to both parties exchanging gunfire. In J. Elliott Hatfield's book, The Hatfields, he said that Jim Vance, along with several armed Hatfields, agreed that Randall McCoy would die that night. Right up this hollow here is where the Hatfields came and led the raid by Jim Vance. And then fire was set to Randall McCoy's house. Calvin McCoy called it to his sister, Alifair, to run down and get some water from the well. But as she got to the well, a shot rang out and she fell to the ground dead. Sarah McCoy tried to get her daughter. However, she was attacked and beaten until she lost consciousness. Calvin, Randall's son, was trying to help his father escape, and as he ran from the house, he was shot in the head and killed. It was on this site, August 1882, election day, that Randolph McCoy's son, Tolbert, he got in an argument with Devil Ants Hatfield. the brother of Ellison. And this led to a fight in which Tolbert and his brother, Farmer and Randolph Jr., stabbed Ellison. Later on, Ellison died. The Hatfield gang, they captured 3 of the McCoy boys, brought them back into Kentucky, and tied them to a pawpaw tree and executed them. And I've been told that pawpaw trees do not get very big. In some instances, it's been called a pawpaw bush. Right in front of the cabin, there's a sign that says McCoy Cemetery, but the cemetery is not here. It is actually approximately 3 miles up the road, up on a hill. But there's a big sign that says private property, no trespassing. And some of the McCoy children and family members are married there. But just so happens that that person that lives there now is a descendant of Bill Staten, who was Floyd Hatfield's brother-in-law. And the McCoy ancestors that are alive today, he would not allow them to go there and visit their relatives. But he took them to court, and in court they won, so he had to let them go. But he doesn't allow anyone else. In Pikesville, Kentucky, high up on a hill, we come to the McCoy family cemetery. At least some of them are buried here. Sarah McCoy and Randolph McCoy. Randolph 1825 to 1914, and Sarah 1829 to 1890 something, they wasn't sure. Looks like someone left 27 cents and a cigar for Randolph. Here's a trail leading higher up the hill to the grave of Basil and Martha Hatfield. The story says that it wasn't just a pig that caused the war. A lot of it had to do with some of the family members fought for the North, some fought for the South, so there was a little bit of friction there. There was some romance involved, as well as mountain pride. Basil was the son of John Hatfield and his wife Martha. Martha 1870 to 1942, and Basil 1871 to 1940. They were just little children when the feud started. The feud started in the 1880s. But as you can tell, their graves are kind of forgotten. From what I've read so far, the Hatfields were fierce people. Remember, they're the ones that led the raid on the McCoys and burned their house down and killed their children. There's a sign down below next to the highway that said during the feud that lasted for many years, that eventually the governors of West Virginia and Kentucky had to step in, as well as time caused the feud to end. But based on the fact that the McCoys' children are buried on Hatfield land, there's still a grudge there, so perhaps the feud didn't die after all. Well, I just made a funny and didn't even realize it. I hope you have enjoyed learning a little bit about the feud between the Hatfields and the McCoys. A lot of folks died here. And there's a lot more than I could ever begin to tell. I actually spoke to someone that's friends with the family that has all the information anybody could ever hope to have. But again, just too much to put on here. He said the movie that came out in 2012 was about perhaps 65% accurate. I want to thank you for joining me. If you hadn't subscribed yet, be sure to go down below and subscribe. Be sure to tell your family and friends. Be sure to share on your social media. But until next time, y'all have a good day.